But let's start at number 10 with none other than Jamaica's Leon Bailey. Number 10 on our list. The attacking player, not just for Jamaica, but Aston Villa of the Premier League as well. Herc, I have not seen your list. I have obviously seen mine. I know he was in my top 10. I'm assuming he was in yours as well.
Where was he in your top 10?
I think he was, and don't quote me on this, I think he was 7.
Yeah, correct. He was 7. He wasn't in my top 10.
No.
He was not in my top 10. Am I the only
disrespect.
one? No. Am I the only one who thinks since he left Leverkusen, his game has dipped? He's not been the same player with Villa. Not only for club, but country. Where is that Leon Bailey we were promised for Jamaica? It started at Gold Cup. When he came on this show and he spoke to us, he was picking up, he had a little injury. He didn't play to his potential. Again, with Jamaica, we've not seen the best of Leon Bailey. And when I think about the names that are out there, I couldn't put myself to put Leon Bailey in my list. I don't know how he got onto your 7. He couldn't even get into my 10.
Look, he's, for me, one of the more talented and already at this young point of his career, he's only 24 years old, productive players out of CONCACAF. This is a guy who a couple years ago was Bundesliga Team of the Season. Not Team of the Week, not Team of the Month, Team of the Season. He went for $40 million. That's what it took to pry him out of Leverkusen to Aston Villa. That's some pretty big money for a CONCACAF player. I will agree with you on the international front. He played 88 minutes in that game that we saw between Jamaica and the United States. Was not the dominant player you might have expected him to be there in the office.
He's not been dominant with Jamaica.
That's
the reality.
Just one goal during his time with Jamaica, and that came way back in 2019. So Leon Bailey, clearly a talent, but maybe still some room to grow, both in terms of the top 10, but also his role with the Jamaican national team. Maybe 2022 will be the year where he delivers there. All right, so let's go from number 10 and Leon Bailey to number 9. We're going to El 3. Raul Alonso Jimenez. Not just of Mexico, but of course of Wolverhampton in the Premier League. Herc, I gotta think he was in both of our top 10s here, yeah?
Yeah, he's in my top 10. I had him 7th. This is incredible to me because November 2020, he was in that horrific incident with David Luiz, head-to-head collision where he feared for his life. His fiancée, now wife at the time, feared for his life. And here he is. I mean, we're about 12, 13 months later, and we're talking about the not rise of a player like Raul Jimenez. We're talking about the rebirth, the new Raul Jimenez, and what he could potentially be again. It's insane to me. I mean, he's 7 right now for me, but only because he's not scratched the surface with the Mexican national team. We see what he does at Wolves and how important he is for Wolves. He's still not been that player of importance again for the Mexican national team, but it's very hard to keep him out of my top 10. I had him at number 7.
You talk about November of 2020. I wonder where he would have been in that top 10, right? I don't think we're talking top 5. We're probably talking like top 3, 2, 1. Like at that moment when he gets injured, Herc, he is at not just the top point of his career, but he's at a stratosphere, a level that very few players from this region have ever hit, especially playing that position.
He's number 7 right now, and he was out for about 5 to 6 months. He was away from the soccer field. We're talking about like non-contact drills, barely touching the ball, barely moving around. And now he's starting games for the Mexican national team. Now he's still an integral part of Wolverhampton. It's amazing to me how far he's come.
7 on your list, Herc, but 9 on our list, which means that I must have dropped Raul Jimenez quite a bit deeper. So we'll have to review that. Let's move to number 8. I had him at number 10, and I think that's fair, right? Given where he is on the road to recovery.
When he
gets to the end of that road, then we're talking about a top 5 player. Until that, I think 5 to 10 is still a fairly safe bet for Raul Jimenez. All right, let's go to number 8. And we got another forward here. Jonathan David of Canada, who just continues to roll for both club and country. Very, very deserving here of his spot in the top 10.
What do you want from a forward? Goal scored, club? Okay, he does that. What do you want from a forward? Goal scored for country? He does that. Gets a chance at Champions League? He does that as well. I've gone so far to say he's the best 9 in all of CONCACAF. Ooh. You've agreed with me.
Save it.
On air, you've agreed with me. This player can do it all. He's going to bigger and better. Lille is a stepping stone. That's what it is for him right now. I see bigger clubs in this man's future.
21 years old. This is probably the time in the show where we note He was born in Brooklyn. He was born in New York. There's some alternative timeline where he's starting for the U.S. national team. He's already got double-digit goals in the league, and Herc, he's already, across all competitions, matched his goal output from last year. I think you're right. I think this is less about where Jonathan David is now and what his next move is. He won't be at Lille long, certainly not if he keeps putting up numbers like that. And the numbers with Canada, awfully impressive as well. 7 goals in 12 games for Canada, and all 7 of those goals come in World Cup qualifiers. So he's getting big goals too.
Yeah, he's getting huge goals. He seems to be a player that keeps attracting attention. He changes the way players around him play. We're going to get into the Alphonso Davies discussion. We're going to get into all these different players, but there are certain players that make other players better. He's one of them. I mean, the intangibles he has, you have to respect it if you're a defender. It opens up so much more for other players.
Jonathan David then coming in at number 8 on our countdown of top 10 players in CONCACAF. Let's go to number 7 next from the Mexican national team and Serie A's Napoli, none other than Irving Chucky Lozano. Herc, where was he on your list?
Chucky Lozano, my list was number, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have Chucky Lozano as number 5 on my list. And by the way, Jonathan David was number 6 on my list. That's how much I respect him. But Chucky Lozano's 5 on my list. Was he 7 here? Are you? No, there's no way.
That one's on me. That one's on me.
Oh,
that one's on me.
Where did you have him?
I must have had him at 9, right? I think we're doing the averages there. So that means Chucky Lozano then dropped because of my vote.
You had him at 8.
Here. I had him at 8. I had him at 8. Okay, I think that's fair, right? It's not been a good time for him at Napoli. If Chucky Lozano had made a different move or was starring at Napoli, he would definitely be higher up on this list. But not only is he not a guaranteed starter and therefore all that productive with Napoli right now, but we've seen it start to influence him with the Mexican national team. So I think it's very safe to have him in the back end of the top 10
Okay,
here.
I've changed my tune when it comes to Irving Lozano. When it comes to Chucky Lozano and him not being productive or useful or an all-and-out starter with Napoli, because there seems to be a bit of a rotation going on right there, and he seems to play a good chunk of minutes, and he's a player that I love how purposeful he is with his movements, how he is in being vertical and being direct and wanting to hurt the opposition. And listen, you and I have been around plenty of Mexican national team games. The first names out of anybody's mouth is Chucky Lozano. The first name any fan will say, Chucky Lozano, and maybe when it comes to being productive with the Mexican national team, it's not gone too well for him, but it's not gone well for anybody. But we're talking about players who impact the Mexican national team, who change the way they play when they're not on the field. It's Chucky Lozano.
There's a lot of young talent on this list, right? Jonathan David, 21. Who do we have before? Leon Bailey, 24. Chucky Lozano's moving out of that young talent, right?
Okay.
At this point, at 26 years old, I think we can start to expect more and more. So maybe I've been harsh in dropping Chucky as deep as I did, but at 26, this far into his European odyssey, I think we should be getting more consistent performances. That's why I dropped him. Can't argue that.
I kind of think he's been consistent.
Not consistent enough for me.
Okay.
Number 6. Let's stay with the Mexican national team, because number 6, Edson Alvarez, of course, dominates the midfield for both El Tri and Ajax. He's coming in here at number 6, Herc. I think this is a player who has very recently been on a very sharp rise in terms of his ranking, right? If we did this a year ago, he would have been nowhere near the top 10.
Edson Alvarez is better for you than Chucky Lozano?
Yep. Right now, yep.
I've got him as 9th.
Both in
He's
terms of club
barely
play
in it.
and in terms of national team play, if you'll let me finish.
Okay. You mentioned club. Where does he ply his trade?
The Dutch league,
The Eredivisie.
with Ajax,
With Ajax.
cruising,
who are
cruising the Dutch league and rolling Champions
League. They
League.
cruise and roll teams, okay? It's not like Serie A, where, by the way, Napoli, where are they in Serie A? Okay? Where's Chucky Lozano right there?
Herc, he's not starting. He's not starting. Edson Alvarez is a guaranteed starter in a knockout round team in the Champions League.
No, don't use the knockout
Napoli's
round team
in Europa League. Come on. And
Hold
Chucky's
on
not a
second.
starter.
Hold on a second. Edson Alvarez, okay, with the Mexican national team, has been playing bombero, trying to rescue fires, and he's not been that effective at it. You can't go in here and just say he's steamrolling his
Chucky
opponents in
Lozano's
club
lighting
and
it up.
country. Chucky Lozano is easily the most determined, I should say, the most heavy relied Mexican national team player they have. He's the only one that can hurt you. This guy may put out fires, but he's not been very good at it as of late. Wasn't very good at it last fixture window, or did you think so?
Was it? I mean, I'll give you the same logic. I'll give you the same logic here. Who played well for Mexico last fixture window?
Chucky Lozano.
Who? Oh, please.
Chucky Lozano,
oh, please.
Thank you. Thanks for mentioning
Better
that.
than Edson.
Chucky
Better than
Lozano.
Edson. No way.
Yeah,
Come on.
Seb.
Come on.
Edson was on the bench.
Where was the
They took
Chucky
Edson
impact?
out.
Where was the Chucky impact against the United States?
If that Gatito Corona knew how to finish, he
One
would
ball.
have an assist.
One ball.
If it wasn't
Come
for a
on.
ridiculous save
Come
from Zach
on.
Steffen, he'd
What
have a
about
goal.
Canada? Well, yeah, he had a one-on-one and didn't finish.
Oh,
please,
sad.
please, your Edson hate here is out of control.
Oh, I'm a big Edson fan, but it seems that you've turned your back on Chucky Lozano and Etu.
No.
Ooh.
No.
In what world is Edson Alvarez more important than Chucky Lozano?
I am nothing if not a prisoner of the moment. And you
Chucky
cannot tell me that Edson Alvarez right now is not having
How does that
a
sound
better
for Edson
moment
in the World Cup?
A better moment than Chucky Lozano. Oh, come on. Look at you living in the ancient past, 2018. That was 100 years ago. Herc.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.